Hello and welcome to another episode of Dine In. Today I'm making shepherd's pie. This simple British recipe is great for sharing with friends and family. It's also a good option for busy people who want to cook once and then eat leftovers for the rest of the week. The first step is to boil some peeled potatoes. I'm going to turn these into a fine mash, so a pressure cooker will speed things up a lot. A cup of water should do, along with a teaspoon of salt. I'm using 5 medium-sized red-skinned potatoes here, but if you can, get some Klondike Gold dusts. Those are naturally soft and buttery, and are my favorite for mashed potatoes. Set on high pressure for 30 minutes. Now to get started on the mince. Set up a wide skillet over medium heat with a few tablespoons of olive oil to begin sauteing the aromatics. This is a mixture of carrots, onions, and garlic, which I blended together in a food processor. As much as you may want to practice your knife skills, there's absolutely nothing to be benefited by chopping all this by hand. Shepherd's pie is a humble dish, so take any opportunity to reduce your workload. Saute until the carrots start losing a bit of their color, then add a pound of minced lamb. For the next 15 minutes, I'm going to be building flavors while the lamb slowly browns. You should experiment with different spices, but for this, I'm sticking to salt, pepper, dried thyme, and a stem of fresh rosemary. As the lamb starts to brown, add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. This will add a ton of savory richness and give the mince a deep, dark color. Like I've said in previous episodes, browning is where the majority of flavor comes from, so you really shouldn't rush this with high heat. There's a fine line between well-developed caramels and just plain burnt. Also, a wooden spoon is my weapon of choice for dislodging that flavorful fond off the bottom of the pan. This looks about right. Now it's time to mash the potatoes, and for this I'm using a steel sieve and the back of a spoon. Personally, I'm not a fan of those handheld smashing tools. They get clogged up within seconds and take forever to even out the lumps. Another benefit of the pressure cooker is it really softens up these spuds and allows them to pass through effortlessly. My favorite part of this process is shaving off the potatoes from the back of the sieve. There's just something oddly satisfying about it. Once that's done, check the potatoes for seasoning. If you added enough salt during the boiling, then they should be fine. If you'd like, you can also mix in some butter at this stage. That'll make the potatoes spread easier during assembly. You can have fun trying out different pots and ramekins, but I prefer a clear Pyrex dish. First in goes the lamb. Just spread it out and pat it down tightly and evenly. Same thing for the potatoes. Once again, I like using the back of a spoon to nestle the mash in tightly. For me, it glides more easily than a spatula, and I have more control ensuring the potatoes stick well to the mince. The stronger these two elements combine, the better your slices will hold together when lifting out of the dish for serving. Pack it down as best you can and smoothen out any unevenness. Sprinkle a healthy portion of cheese over the top. A good melting cheese like cheddar works best. Finally, add a couple tablespoons of seasoned breadcrumbs to help give the cheese a bit of a crunch. Place the pie in the center of a preheated 450-degree oven for half an hour or until the cheese turns golden brown. And there we have it, the definition of comfort food. I hope you've learned a few tips for extracting the most flavor out of your shepherd's pie. I really can't stress enough how easy this is and how well it works for leftovers. Until the next time, have a good night and keep safe.